Welcome back, everybody. It's me, Alice Blue. Real quick, I just want to tell you why I have been sort of absent lately everywhere is because I've been remodeling my bedroom, and so I've not had access to my computers and I've been really busy with that. Also, my kid's going back to school this week, so I've been double busy. Hopefully that won't last much longer. Hopefully we'll get that done here this next week, and we'll be back on schedule and even better. So yeah, anyways, let's get to some Members Adrift patch notes. Okay, so these are the patch notes for Wednesday, August 10th. What's new? This week brings a heap of new features and updates, the biggest of which is the reveal of our latest iteration of quest system. Next up is a new dungeon and the reintroduction of Ember Drifts. We have also adjusted player health regen to reduce overall downtimes. Bug fixes and improvements. Hotfixes from the previous weekend. Fixed issues with Gathering Bag, showing multiple times after switching characters. Fixed issues with overhead nameplate colors not consistently applied. Fixed issues with Meadowlands nav mesh that was causing NPCs to act funny, extremely sluggish, bad pathing, etc. Fixed nav mesh links near Meadowlands Spider Cave are now bi-directional. Added notification message when you try to transfer something to your inventory and it is either full or you are missing your belongings. Fixed refinement stations should now pull raw materials from your gathering bag. Tech. Updated engine to latest minor revision, updated vegetation shaders. Fixed offhand attacks will no longer trigger from abilities that disable auto attack. Fixed error when trying to send an empty tell. Fixed input binding error when a new bind conflicted with an action no longer supported. Environment and art. Updated vegetation material alpha cut values. This makes trees and bushes a bit less anemic. See the screenshot below. Updated. Spread out a deciduous versus evergreen color modifications throughout the year. Trees that lose their leaves in winter will now turn red as fall approaches. Fixed spider, both large and small, death animations. No longer offset their bodies from their origin as much. This should make them far easier to loot. Adjusted LODs on a number of axe visuals. UI. Fixed gathering bug and personal bank now remember their positions. Fixed double negative signs displayed on flanking bonuses. Fixed double negative signs displayed on stat panels. Updated stat panel display formatting. Added new loading screen concept art for Central Veins and Northreach. Design. New Haven South has been renamed New Haven Valley. New Haven North has been renamed Northreach. Large new creatures have been reported in the Meadowlands and Redshore. Fishermen are now known as fishers. Updated. Meadowlands training tables. Dropped adventuring and gathering. Disabled. Non-interactive anvil in Meadowlands town. Updated Redshore merchants with higher level consumables. Fixed issue with exile sentries not fighting back when their target is at max range. NPCs will now use their abilities more frequently. Here is a comparison shot of the same oak tree with the new material settings. Left is new, right is old. Here's a small clip of some deciduous trees moving from summer to fall. This coloration does not yet apply to evergreen trees, such as the holm oak. That's awesome. For the stats that are only applicable in combat, we now show the combat icon, crossed swords, next to the stat value to indicate that it is not currently active. Once you drop into combat stance, by unsheathing your weapons on the combat the combat icon will go away, indicating that the stat is active. So here is the X cross swords that they're talking about. So when you take out your weapons, those will not be there and these stats will change. New stuff. New quest and dialogue system. This week we are bringing you our latest iteration of the quest and dialogue system. It has been completely reworked from the ground up to provide greater flexibility, extensibility, and support for the broader variety of quest types. This update also expands our dialogue system to be more dynamic, provides support for both quests and non-quest dialogue at the same time, and allow for NPCs to offer multiple quests. In addition, we have begun to replace our tables with actual merchants. Yay! Merchants! Although let me point out that now there are merchants, the tables are still there on the ground, but you cannot interact with the tables. You have to interact with the NPC, even though the table's still there. Some of us were a little bit like, why can't I click on the table? Because that's what we're used to doing. But yay, we have NPCs. At this point, we have implemented a number of quests in New Haven Valley and replaced most of the merchants. This zone is by no means complete, but we are working our way there and will be filling in content from now until launch. These quests are hot off the presses, so please make sure to report any issues and bugs you may encounter when you do them. There is currently no UI element to track these quests, so we have added the /list objectives chat command that will show you your current objectives. This is rough, but it should help. Adding a UI element to track these objectives, along with improving the dialogue UI, is next up on the to-do list, in addition to adding new quests. We encourage you to make a new character this week to more naturally experience these quests. Northreach Dungeon. Central Veins has expanded into the north. Within the wilds of the Northreach, you will find 2 static dungeon entrances, along with the roaming Ember Drifts. Ember Drifts, for those of you who were not around when we last tested them, provide temporary access to specific parts of the dungeon that may or may not be accessible via static entrances. These anomalies can be thought of as an overexposed Ember Ring or a more powerful manifestation of Ember energy that connects 2 points through a portal. The overworld representation of an Ember Drift looks like the following and can be activated by stepping into the center. If you see one of these in your travels, you might consider entering it, as it doesn't stick around for too long. Dude, these look so cool. I found one the other day. I had to stop and take screenshots. They're great. And look at all these flowers, man. It's just a beautiful world. I love it. Interactions with the Underworld Ember Drift is done by getting close to it and right-clicking on it, similar to a door. These can either be active or inactive. When active, the portal is bidirectional, meaning that there is corresponding overworld Ember Drift that leads to this location. Active stat is indicated by the lighting and particle effects being enabled. When inactive, the portal is only one direction. The player can exit the dungeon, but you will not be able to return. Inactive is indicated by the lighting and particle effects being disabled. This is what they look like from underground when they are active. It's like a cool crystal formation. Note that the new dungeon's nav mesh is not cleaned. This means that NPC movement may have some oddities to it. I will try to get this cleaned up before the weekend. Health regen updates. Previously, our innate health regenerate was a fixed value, which led to significant downtimes for players when their health pools grew. There were a number of things we had to consider when modifying the player's health regen. We wanted to reduce a player's downtime while not severely impacting the pace of play or the value of the regen gear and consumables. What we landed on is something we are calling fully rested health regen. It works by slowly adding a bonus to your health regeneration rate the longer you are out of combat, which is indicated by sword icons under your nameplate, not being in combat stance. At level 20, this results in a 40% improvement in the time that it takes to fully heal. This method scales well with higher health pools, as the longer you wait, the higher you regenerate. Note that there is a cap on the back end. Please let us know how this feels and if you think it makes the regen stat obsolete or screws up the pace of play. By the way, I think it feels great. Resolution scaling. Resolution scaling. Experimental feature. A new slider has been added to the video options that enables Unity's dynamic resolution scaling. This technology essentially renders the game at a lower resolution and then, as a final step, upscales the image to your selected resolution. This feature should help ease GPU load for higher resolutions while maintaining reasonable visual fidelity. This feature is experimental and I'm still not sure if it's working correctly. Give it a spin if you are running at higher resolutions and let me know if it has any impact on your frame rate or visual quality. Works in progress. To see a full list of what is currently in progress, head on over to this thread. I will do my best to update this list on a weekly basis and highlight the differences from the previous week with bold font. Known issues. When taking an Ember Drift to the dungeon, a static electricity noise can be heard at full volume until loading is complete. Yikes. Gildan's quest will not complete currently. Progress will be saved and it will be fixed, never fear. Terrain textures have a bit too much tiling. This will be resolved shortly. Characters can get stuck in any looping animation if they do not properly complete. This is most noticeable for strikers using a bow. Not all Ember Rings or points of interest are proper map discoveries. This is especially true in Dryfoot and Dryfoot Stronghold and Red Shore. Discoveries and map uncovering is a work in progress and will be revisited soon. Deconstructing crafted items returns junk 100% of the time. You cannot roll on loot while unconscious. Not all clothing and armor has visuals. Dragging a group nameplate in the group window will set the wrong pivot point for the group window, and the whole thing will drag a little bit weird. Typing chat text may occasionally become invisible. Unfocus your chat window and try typing again. Do this a few times, usually it will resolve the issue. Sometimes when you respawn, you don't end up at the proper Ember Ring. If this happens, please report the position where you died via the report command or debug position. If using debug position, you'll need to paste the value here on the forums. Mac OS. Character creation camera is bugged on Apple Silicon Macs. The issue has been submitted to Unity. Zooming the camera while holding the right mouse button can cause your chat window to scroll. This is not intended behavior. At some camera angles, the sun may go dark. This should not happen frequently, but it is readily reproducible at some locations. Investigating a fix. Alright, you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching, and also, yet again, I'm really sorry that I have been off schedule these last couple of weeks. Like I said, I hope that will be resolved very soon, and I can be back at it as usual. Anyways, thank you for watching. I appreciate you so fucking much if you made it this far in the video. Thank you.